Hi everyone, I'm April. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're doing well. Before we dive into today's video, I just want to take a moment to say thank you. The comments and kind words I got from my last Techo video honestly blew me away. All your support really meant a lot to me. So truly, thank you for being here. I really appreciate each and every one of you. For this video, I want to do a little recap on my first ever fountain pen custom grind, and I will do a little writing test with it and also share the fountain pens that I have currently inked. Maybe along the way I will share some stories behind each of the pens. So let's get started. Maybe a week or so earlier, I saw the Instagram story on Yoseka's account saying that the nibmeister JJ Lax will come to the store and take nib grinding appointment for 2 days. Luckily, when I went to the website for reservation, there are still a couple of time slots left. So I quickly secured one on Friday afternoon. Here I am sharing some clips I got on that day at the Yoseka store. I got there a little early before the appointment, so I was able to record these clips while browsing around, which I'm glad I did because afterwards the store got very crowded and busy. And I really love spending time there, just browsing and look at the stationery displays and especially the ink display. And I was able to flip through the ink swatch books that they have. Like I said, I have never had a customized nib grind before, other than the Esterbrook Estie with a Techo nib. What I wanted JJ Lax to work on is this TWSBI Eco in Creme Rose Gold. I bought this pen earlier this year. This is a fine nib. It is super smooth with no feedback. However, I'm not sure if it's because of the rose gold coating or something else. This nib writes like a medium, and it's very wet. It only gets a little finer lines when I put extremely dry ink in it. I think I will have more use out of it if the nib size can be a bit finer or drier. What I had in mind was a cursive smooth italic, which has a thinner cross stroke and wider downstroke, and will give a bit of character to writing. Since I write in both Chinese and English, I really appreciate the line variation from the Techo nib I got. From what I know, cursive smooth italic is a relatively common grind on fountain pens, so I want to start with that. After talking to Josh about this, he took a look at the nib and said that the gap between the tines are relatively larger, hence it puts down more ink than average. And here I'm showing you a short clip of JJ Lax working on this nib. I think I learned it somewhere that it is better not to disturb or chat with the nibmeister while they are working, as you don't want them to get distracted while working. So I spent some time trying out different grinds he offered on the table and did some writing sample with them. These are some of the samples that I did at the table. The Architect nib also looks great. So here is the reborn TWSBI. I already have it inked with a new bottle of ink that I bought at Yoseka on the same day. Now let's do a quick writing sample on both Midori and Tomoe River paper. Here you can clearly see the line variations between the cross and downstrokes. That's my first custom grind. Overall, I really enjoy this cursive smooth italic. I've already done some long form writing with it, and it is very smooth and just what I wanted. JJ Lax was very helpful during the session and asked me questions about the pen. So in general, a very successful nib grinding experience. Since we are already talking about fountain pens and inks, I want to share the fountain pens that I have currently inked. I don't rotate my inks on a monthly basis. Right now it's still very random. When I used up the ink or getting tired of a pen, I'll clean them out. Although I don't have that many inks, there are still many pen and ink combinations that I can play with. I really want to take time to know the properties of my inks and pens, which pairs well with what. And I don't really follow a certain season or theme for my choices. As I said, I'm super casual and just prefer to go with the flow. In a sense, you can call me a mood inker, if that's a thing. So I want to swatch the inks and write with the fountain pens on both the Midori and Tomoe River papers, which are the two kind of papers that I mainly use. Sometimes the same ink can look really different on different papers. I will use the end of the glass dip pen to do a larger swatch and then write down the name of the ink with the tip. So TWSBI is the first one. The new ink I got from Yoseka is from Lennon Tool Bar, and this is from their atmospheric line, which is pigment ink line and waterproof. It is called Twilight, which is a dark gray with a hint of purple. You can really see the purple tone on Tomoe River paper, but not so much on Midori paper. here is the writing sample on the dory paper. I noticed that pigment inks generally do not have many fun shading or sheening properties, and once they are dried, they look more flat than regular fountain pen inks. Let me do the writing sample on the Tomoe River paper next. Here is the writing sample on Tomoe River paper. I am copying the paragraphs from The Great Gatsby. And usually when I watch currently inked videos, I like seeing how the ink and pen work on paper in long form writing. So that's why I did a relatively long writing sample. So that's the first pen. The next pen is the Esterbrook Estie in Sea Glass. This one has a Techo nib on it. And right now, this pen is inked with Sailor Ink Studio 150. This is actually a purplish pink or pinkish purple. You might think that it's really strange for me to put a purple pink ink into a green colored pen, but I don't really mind that. Sometimes I just want to try different inks with this Techo nib. I want to say this Techo nib is probably my favorite nib at the moment. So let's do a ink swatch. So while I'm doing the writing sample, let me tell you about the story behind the Esterbrook Estie. I got this pen at the Baltimore pen show in March and completely fell in love with it after purchasing. The different line variation with different writing angles and directions really add flair to my writing. I sometimes feel my handwriting looks better with this nib. This is also my first Esterbrook. I did a lot of research on this pen and nib and decided to buy it only after testing it at the pen show. And I think it's totally worth it. If you also write in Chinese, Japanese, or other character-based forms, you might like this nib as well. Here are the different writing sample if you hold it at different angles. I think this looks really nice. Also, I find the Estie really comfortable with my hand. It has the perfect amount of weight to it, and I like using it for long form writing. In fact, I brought this pen with me on my recent trip to Oregon. It traveled very well thanks to the cushion cap mechanism. Here is the writing sample of the Esterbrook Estie with the Sailor Ink Studio 150. This shading is really showing through. And here it is on Tomoe River paper. Also very beautiful shading. So that's the second pen. Okay, the third one is this Sailor Pro Gear in Caffe Creme colorway, and this pen has a medium nib, 21K medium nib. This is my most recent acquisition. I think I got super lucky on this one. The story behind this is that I already had a Sailor Pro Gear Slim in medium fine, and I really enjoy that one very much. The feedback once I get used to it is really pleasant. I feel pretty content with that Pro Gear Slim. Granted, once in a while there are some new colorways or limited editions that I think are beautiful, but I never thought of getting another Pro Gear Slim because it is just a tiny bit short and thin on the grip for me. I don't feel the urge to get another Pro Gear Slim, but I do like Sailor pens in general. I think if I ever get another Sailor, it would be in a different model, either a Pro Gear or a 1911 large. But again, I don't feel gravitated towards any of the current available colors in those models. I guess I am very picky. Then I saw this German limited edition one from Abby C's video, and I like it very much. The finial with the coffee bean is the cherry on top. Unfortunately, I know this is a 2022 limited edition, and of course you cannot find it anywhere online. So I kind of gave up on this, and after a while the urge of getting a coffee themed Sailor kind of dialed down a little bit. Then last month, my partner found a reseller with this pen in stock, but the reseller is in China and they only have a few left. So he asked his friend to get this for me and shipped it to my hand. Anyways, this pen came a long way to here with the help of several friends, so I am so grateful for them. And now this pen is currently inked with Robert Oster Caffe Crema. I got this sample from Yoseka. I only have a sample of it because, to be honest, after swatching it, I wish it could be a shade darker. It still pairs well with this pen, but I don't think I will get a bottle of it. I'm still looking for the perfect coffee color ink. So let me know if you have any recommendations. Now let's do the swatch. So here is the writing sample of the Caffe Crema on Midori paper. And here is it on the Tomoe River paper. Okay, last but not least is my Pilot Decimo in fine nib. This one is currently inked with another sample. This is the Nagasawa Kobe number 15 called Maiko Green, and it is a dark green. Nothing special about the ink itself, so I guess I will not repurchase this either after using up this sample. This one. The funny story is that I used to hate this pen with a passion. This opinion have changed since the Baltimore pen show. Initially, I was just not a fan of the retractable mechanism, and the clip seems really annoying when writing. It seems getting in the way all the time. And if I want the convenience of a push button, I would opt for a gel pen or a ballpoint pen. But at the Baltimore Pen Show, I was testing a bunch of nib and pens at the pilot table and saw the vanishing point. My thinking was, okay, let me see what's the hype about it. First, I tried the vanishing point and then the Decimo. I was really surprised by the actual button mechanism. It was somewhat satisfying. It is very firm, and the nib feels softer than the other Pilot pens. Possibly because of the spring inside. Anyway, I didn't buy it at the show. I just want to sit with my thoughts a little longer. Then fast forward to a month later, I have thought through everything and finally made this purchase. Overall, it is a very juicy nib, very fine, but also wet. I'm able to write precisely with this in my Hobonichi with the 4mm grid. Here is the writing sample of the Maiko Green in Pilot Decimo on MD paper. And here is the pen and ink on Tomoe River paper. Okay. As you can see, most of my inks are darker and more muted, except for this one, I guess. I prefer my inks to be more legible when writing. And since most of my pens are in finer nibs, lighter inks cannot be fully expressed on paper. And here is the final close-up of the inks when they're completely dry. Here it is on the MD paper. Okay, I take it back. I think the Caffe Crema is indeed really nice. So as you can see, there is absolutely no theme or matching colors right now, but all the inks perform really well in their own pens, and that's all I need right now. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this one. I know this is gonna be a chatty one, so hope you like it. Hope you like the little vlog clips, and it's fun sharing the stories behind my currently inked pens and how I acquired them with you guys. I feel like the stories and journey to get to these pens only give them more characters and more personalities even, and it made me love them even more. So let me know your thoughts on the inks and pens, or just anything you want to share in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. Bye!